Hello, everyone. If you are just jumping on, go ahead and grab your lunch if you haven't eaten. If you're not shy, you can also open up your camera so I can see your face. But if you're not wanting to do that, that's okay too. You can actually just scroll over the bottom and there's a chat box and you can type in the chat and I can communicate with you that way. This is meant to be interactive, so feel free to, hi, Caroline. Feel free to, you know, um, and if you've seen it before, like if you've been to the workshop and you're like, oh, I don't want to listen to it again, like it's okay if you leave, just type bye to me or give me a little wave. It is being recorded for those who couldn't come live. So if you do choose to open up your camera, just know that it is being recorded and I will be sharing it with those who need the recording. So we are going to start in just like a minute or two. And maybe just to break the ice a little, you can tell me how your weekend was. Maybe you did something fun. If you're in Ottawa, it was a gorgeous weekend. The army run happened downtown. My husband and I did the half. That was his first half. It took me 16 years to convince him to do it, and he did. So I'm very proud of him. And actually, I'm the one who held him back. It wasn't my best race day. I mean, I did it. It was great, but he really he was the one that was turning around being like, "Let's go. Come on." So, super proud of him. He used to say, "I can't do more than 5K. Never say never." So, anyway, here we are. Let me know how your weekend was. Maybe you want to type in the chat. If you're just jumping on, I'm going to mute everybody just so there's no feedback. But if you want to, thanks, Charlene. If you guys want to ask me a question or, give me a little wave, you can open up your camera and then we can unmute and ask, or you can ask your question in the chat box. Okay. So we will get started because I want to be mindful of your time and mine. And you came here today because you likely want to start running, or you were a runner and you'd like to get back to it. And we're going to chat about how to keep running into our 40s and beyond, recover quickly, and avoid injuries. The 3 strategies that work when nothing else does. So if you are here, I'm so happy. And I think you should give yourself a little pat on the back for dedicating time and energy for your health. So let's try to stay present. Let's close our eyes, take a deep breath together, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. I love just kind of feeling my breath with my eyes closed. And I always invite my clients to do the same before we start a session. So let's just tune inward. Can you feel as you inhale slowly through your nose, your belly rise a little bit? And then your rib cage is expand a little bit. And then the last part of your rib cage, the upper rib cage, the chest, it puffs last. And then as you exhale, the chest softens. Your middle rib cage is come down and in. And then your belly softens. And if you don't feel that, that's okay. Just gently try to encourage that 3-part breath. As you inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Just taking a small pause to listen to your breath, tune into your body. One more time. Amazing. And when you're ready, go ahead and you can flutter your eyes open. And we're set. We are here together energetically. If you have to go, that's okay. But try your best to stay present in the moment. Close all the other tabs. Turn the phone down. We're here for our health and let's commit to it. So my promise to you is that by the end of the training, I'm going to show you how to shift away from feeling stuck in possibly waking up feeling old, stiff, and sore. Maybe you have a repetitive injury, and how to start moving towards freely moving, maybe running again, and just journeying towards being the healthiest version of yourself possible. Let me know in the chat if that sounds good. And specifically, I want to show you and let you discover why maybe what you've been doing for years to relieve stiffness, tension, injuries, aches, or pains, or maybe old traumas even, why it hasn't been working. And we're going to go through instead what I've seen work in my own body and with my clients and offer it to you. Imagine you can skip over all the Googling, all the YouTube videos, trials and erroring, and just do what works, right? I know what I've learned through the steps and methods that I'm going to share with you. It changed my life. It got me back to running, and it's certainly helped a lot of my clients too. And I know it can help you. So type yes in the chat if that sounds good and you're ready to dive in. Yes, says Charlene. Awesome. Yes, Caroline. All right. So let me know if any of these points maybe relate to you. These are things I've heard over the years as a physiotherapist, as a yoga teacher, as a guide and health coach in the community. So maybe this resonates with you. Any of these points, you tell me. You're tired of going to appointments on the regular. Maybe it's biweekly, weekly, monthly. Maybe it's an adjustment, physio, dry needling. Even I do dry needling on clients, right? Massage, acupuncture, osteopath, only just to get temporary relief. Let me know if that's something that has happened with you and you're just kind of tired of it. It's just temporary, it doesn't last. Caroline says yes. Maybe, and feel free to add to it, maybe you're doing something else and you're curious. Or maybe, second bullet, I've seen this a lot too. You go to the doctor, you have hip pain, knee pain, and they just sort of chalk it up to, well, maybe you need to take a break from your activity. Maybe you need to take a break from running. Don't run so much. Oh, running's bad for your joints. Oh, maybe you have arthritis. Just kind of being brushed off aside, right? But you're like, but I have so many more years in life. I want to keep doing these things. I want to play tennis. I want to play golf. Let me know in the chat if you relate to that. Or maybe you haven't been to the doctor or therapist and you're just Googling, right? Dr. Google has all the answers. Yes, says Charlene. And Dr. Google does have all the exercises too. But there's thousands of videos and images and the answers are not in order. There's no methodology, right? It's kind of overwhelming. And it's very normal to feel overwhelmed if that isn't your specialty. It's not what you studied. Even as a physiotherapist and yoga teacher myself, if I was to jump on Google, it's overwhelming to me too. So you're not alone. Or maybe you relate more to this point. You're tired of not being able to show up the way you want as a mom or as a woman in your community, maybe as a grandma or whatever it is, and you love running so much. Or maybe it's not running, you can fill in your blank. Maybe it's biking, maybe it's hiking, because it's such a big part of you. But right now, you're not able to do that, right? You're not able to bike. You're not able to hike and keep up with your family. You're not able to keep up with the grandkids or your kids. It's making you irritable and grumpy. Tell me if that is something you relate with, because I've heard that a lot too. And I experienced it myself. Or maybe you're in this category. Well, my injury isn't that, whoops, sorry. My injury isn't that bad. And, it's fine. I can like push through it. But then whenever you do something, whenever you run or whenever you play a game of tennis or play a game of golf, or you chase your kids at the playground, you end up paying for it all week long. Or maybe you just gardened all weekend, but then you're out for a month, right? Maybe you relate to that. Or the last point, you feel like you've tried everything and maybe this is just what getting old feels like. But then you realize, no, there's so much more life left to live. And you know something has to change. You know you can't give up on running or insert your activity. And you want your active lifestyle back. You want to be able to do the fun things, not just sit with your aches and pains on your couch or lie in bed. Does any of this relate with any of you? Let me know. Or maybe you have something different to share with us, what you're struggling with. Let me know what it is. Think about it. Put it in the chat. Take your time. You can always put it in and I will look at it. I'm going to move to the next slide. Hi, Margaret. I see you've joined. What I want to tell you guys, Caroline says, I don't recover as fast. Okay. Yeah. That's a good one too. It's frustrating when we don't come back as fast as we used to, right? So I want to let you know that if you're nodding your head in agreement with any of the points, or maybe it's all of the above, you're not alone. I've heard this and listened to my clients. I've experienced it in my own body. And I promise you that whatever you're doing, and maybe it's not working, it's not your fault. Okay. It's really hard to know. Like we said, there's thousands of answers out there. Hard to know who is right, what to trust. And if you feel like anything like I felt or my clients felt, you would have done anything to get rid of that feeling, right? You want to just want to feel good in your body, get back to being confident and trusting your body to do the things your mind wants to do, right? So, what if this is the dream? Let me know if any of these feel like your dream. You'll wake up every day feeling free from aches and pains, no more stiffness and tension. You just wake up and you don't have to rely on medication. You'll be able to just slap on your running shoes and run freely. Maybe it's running with your partner. Maybe it's grabbing your golf clubs, your tennis racket, badminton, pickleball. That's a very popular run right now, bowling ball. And you just want to be able to be in your community, be with your people, showing up how you want without worrying that you're going to throw out your back or hurt your hip or limp for days. Maybe one of your dreams is to wake up and keep up with your kids and not be the mom who has to sit on the sidelines or sit at the park bench. You can chase them, you can play tag, or you can pick up the soccer ball with them and play shinny soccer. Maybe you just want to wake up with energy. Maybe you wake up every day fatigued, tired, and you just want to have energy. Just finally feeling confident in your body and your abilities and feeling free. Let me know if any of those bullets, maybe all of the above, tell me which scenario best describes you. We already know Caroline wants to recover quickly. And let's see. Yep. Does anyone have maybe something to add to that? Or that's just sort of, yep, check. I resonate with all that. Let me know in the chat. If you're just jumping on and you don't know what I'm talking about, if you scroll on the bottom, there's a little chat box, or you can just open up your camera. It is being recorded, and just kind of give me a thumbs up or nod your head. Let me know if there's anything that you would like to add to how you want to feel, what it would feel like to wake up next year, next month differently. Check mark from Charlene. Thanks, Charlene. Yeah, I think that's very reasonable and fair to want to be able to do all those things and wake up feeling great and free in our bodies, not feeling stuck and like we can't do what we want to do. Before we go any further, I know some of you, and thank you for coming again, some of you, and for some of you, you are new to me. Oh, Charlene says, energetic all the time and confident ability definitely is important. Yeah, absolutely. Like, we only have one life to live. Let's make it a great one, right? We want to be able to show up the way we want. So before I go any further, I'm just going to introduce myself. My name is Tatiana. I am professionally background, a physiotherapist, a yoga teacher, and a mindfulness instructor. And in the more recent years, the last 2, 3 years, wearing a new hat under a mindset and movement health coach. I have a mom of 3 young, awesome kids. They're there in the picture. And I just love running. I love running. I love yoga. I love being active and being able to share that with my clients. I started a program called the Move with Ease Method to support women overcoming these traditional stereotypes of aches and pains as we get older and help them establish a deep mind-body connection so that they can live freely, keep running, for example, or insert activity, and be able to live their second half of life to the fullest, right? Not just many years, but quality years. And yeah, that's just a little bit about me. The old me, this is a very old picture. That was me 12 years ago when I was a new practitioner, new physio. And I was helping my clients who came to see me really focused on their physical pain, right? I was out of school. Physiotherapy school was a lot about physical pain, obviously. And I have to admit, I was a bit naive and inexperienced, right? I focused a lot on physical pain and treated it from a lens of biomechanics and anatomy, physiology, and ergonomics, ligaments, bones, tendons, you name it. And they were getting results. Like I wasn't a bad physio, but it just wasn't quite 100%, right? They would often come back or they'd see me alongside other practitioners, like adjustments with their chiro, a little bit of needling with their acupuncturist. And they just kind of hit a wall in terms of sustainable or full results, right? And it's not to say these are bad. It just wasn't the complete picture. Okay. Then I became a mom and I dove deeper into my own yoga practice because at the time when I was pregnant, I couldn't run anymore. So it was just too heavy, too uncomfortable. And I found yoga. And why did I do yoga? Well, I wanted to keep fit and active. And I really sought it for the physical aspect. Again, totally new to it. I wasn't as deep into the mindfulness, sort of tuning inward component. I really was there to stretch my body, strengthen my muscles, keep my body healthy for my pregnancy. But, over time, as I started doing it more and more and then got into my yoga teacher training, I'm talking about over years here, and then having a second pregnancy and then a third, my body evolved, my practice evolved, and it really changed who I was as a practitioner, right? Really changed my own health and how I looked inward, physically, mentally, emotionally. And I noticed a pattern with my repeat clients, with my female clients in particular, working moms, busy working women, feeling stuck in their bodies, disconnected to their muscles, unaware of their deep muscles, posture, breath, sometimes not even aware of patterns in their mindset. Okay, they were just so busy with life, especially maybe in your 30s when you're having babies, you're kind of in survival mode, you're multitasking, your careers may be taking off, the household needs to be held down. Like we're going, doing, and there's just no time in the day to really tune in. And then what we see in myself, I saw, and other clients, my female clients, was that their own health was the thing on the list that was taking the toll. I remember this one time I was teaching a yoga fusion class in North Bay. And so it's already a very intense class. We do like 20-minute power yoga, 20-minute HIIT, like Tabata style workout, then 20-minute stretch, and then just 3 minutes at the end, I left for Shavasana. If you don't know what Shavasana is, you lie on the mat and you breathe and you just like let your body absorb your practice. This one mom, she was actually a friend of mine at the time, she popped off her mat, sprayed her mat down, started wiping it during Shavasana. And I remember the full class was full and I like scurried over to her mat and I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, I don't have time for this. I gotta go get groceries before my shift. Like, I gotta go. And it was like she just couldn't control herself. She just, in her mind, it was like, okay, I did my yoga, did my stretch, did my HIIT. got my bang for my buck. I don't have time to like lie and do nothing. I gotta go. It was like those 3 minutes of lying down for herself made her feel like she wasn't being effective with her time. She felt guilty about it. And it wasn't an efficient use of her time. If I'm being honest too, like I used to feel like that when I was like a newbie at yoga. I was always like, why are we just lying here? Why don't we spend like 5 minutes still stretching or still working out? Can any of you relate to that? Tell me we're not alone. We can't be alone because I've heard it a lot, right? Does anyone else feel like that sometimes that you're, or maybe it's something else you're struggling with. Maybe it's not the yoga shavasana itself, but the whole taking a pause, slowing down, feeling your breath. Let me know, because I know that girl and me, we are not alone. Hi, Alyssa. Okay. So, like I said before, as I went through changes in my own body and my own practice and seeing the evolution through my clients and their journeys, it really was about connecting the person as a whole, right? So when I was a new practitioner, straight out of physio school, very physical, knee pain, let's just treat your knee, get that knee better, right? But as things evolved, I really came to see, and also in my own body, going through pregnancies and injuries myself, we really have to understand pain and injury, trauma, and old patterns from a mental, emotional, physical, and even spiritual lens. And I don't mean spiritual as a religion, I mean that as a sort of surrendering to whatever belief you have in the universe. Okay, it could be a god, it could be ancestors, it could be just the universe and the stars, right? There's something about all of those parts of us that we need to bring together to come inward to truly heal and to truly improve and transform. Okay, I know that sounds very maybe out there, but I'm just telling you guys the truth. That is how I healed from my injuries completely, and that is how I've helped my clients. We can't just do it from one lens, right? You have to really look at the person as a whole picture. And doing that, I had to invest in myself for personal growth, development, and my health. Um, as someone who is knowledgeable in these things and have expertise, I still leaned on experts and mentors in that field for their support, because sometimes it's really hard to be doing it alone. And I think as women, as moms especially, we think we have to have it all figured out and do it ourselves, but we don't have to. Okay, like we serve all the time. Sometimes it's nice to have someone help us and lean on someone for support. Again, I'll go back to that example of spray, 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 wipe, wipe, wipe. I don't have time for Shavasana. In a busy world of doing, it's kind of hard to tell or sell, right, with clients that sometimes we just need to take a pause. There is a power in the pause, but it's hard because it's hard to, it doesn't feel tangible right away, right? To get people to slow down, sit with the breath, feel the breath. What is happening in the breath? Sitting with postures and poses and stretches. They're sometimes painful, they're sometimes uncomfortable. There's so much information there when we give it time and connecting our mind to body. This is this takes commitment, and it takes an open mind and an open heart and a willingness to be curious and kind to oneself. And it really is more about that than quick band-aid fixes, taking a pain med here, getting an adjustment there. That's how we address the root cause. Sometimes we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in order to unravel and find those true deep root causes to truly heal. So that's why I love mindful movement so much. And that's why I do it with everyone that comes through my office or who I treat virtually. And mindful movement is yoga. I haven't even mentioned the other benefits that yoga provides and mindful movement, such as better sleep, circulation, lymphatic drainage, improved balance, focus, mindset, right? But truly, one of the big golden nuggets is that ability to turn inward, get curious about your body, and feel it, and then know how to move forward rather than pushing things away or staying stuck. How did this all kind of come together for me? Like I had already been brewing all these ideas for years and years, right? Because of my pregnancies, when I turned to yoga, when I couldn't run, and then involved with my physio practice. But this is what happened in 2020. Nobody likes COVID, but one thing for me that really came out that was really good was that I discovered I could help my clients without my hands. And my clients got better faster and they were empowered because they felt like, well, they didn't feel like they did it themselves, right? So 2-week lockdown, everyone thought the world would open in 2 weeks. It didn't. So people who still had pain, injuries, whatever, started reaching out, and I flipped to virtual quickly. And without my hands, what could I do? I could still guide them with yoga, mindful movement, and breath work, and helping them discover their mind-body connections. And this was the turning point, right? My clients were floored. They were like, how is it that I'm getting better with just movement? But it's not just movement. It's because they were being so intentional and purposeful with their mind-body connection. And it was really cool. And they felt really empowered. And they didn't need to rely on my hands to help them feel better. Before I go on, I want you to meet Robin. Robin is a client of mine who, let's see, I'm going to read her testimonial. So Robin is a go-getter. She's a very ambitious woman high up in the government, and she loves to run. And every week she runs 3 times with her sister who doesn't live in the same city, and they pop their AirPods in and they run, walk, and chat and catch up with each other. And one of the things that was really annoying for her prior to working with me was that she would always have a threatening lower back. So once in a while, like several times a year, maybe once every 3-4 months, her back would threaten her by going out. Okay, I keep giving quotations because back going out doesn't mean a slip disc or anything. It's just spasms, angry muscles, that kind of thing. And she would hit a ceiling. She would have to not do the walk run with her sister, or maybe she would walk, she wouldn't be able to run. And at the gym with her personal trainer, they would always hit a wall. She couldn't ever lift heavier than whatever the weight was. And things like full plank, side plank were always challenging beyond a certain amount of time. Like maybe she couldn't do over 20 seconds, but her goal was to do a minute. Okay. So Robin says, prior, I suffered the effects of persistent and sometimes debilitating back pain. Through mindfulness and yoga, Tatiana has given me the tools required to stay in the game in terms of my own wellness program, running, strength, biking, snowshoeing, and skiing in the winter. Through breathing and the focus on strengthening my inner core, I continue to do all the work that needs to get done in both my personal and professional life. So super happy for Robin, and reporting that she, to this day, is still able to go for those walk runs with her sister without that nagging, annoying threat in her lower back. And she's lifting more weight than she ever thought possible at the gym with her personal trainer, and not being, bogged down by worrying about her back. So that's really exciting for Robin. Does anyone have any questions so far? Feel free to type in the chat. I do have it open so that if you have any questions, I can pop on and answer them. All right. So we've come to core concept number 1 in our chat today, in our workshop is that the real reason you're not, oh, thanks, Alyssa, no questions. The real reason you're feeling maybe sore or stuck in your body or your injury and you're not recovering as quickly as you want, or you're experiencing a repetitive injury, is perhaps you're relying on passive therapies like an adjustment, a massage, or acupuncture. I'm not saying these things aren't good. I'm saying they aren't getting at the root cause. Okay? You're getting a moment where you feel good, and that's really great for acute pain. But if it's just ongoing, chronic, we need something else. Passive is not going to be enough. Maybe you're relying on pain medication. Let me know in the chat if you are taking naproxen, Robaxacet, Tylenol, some sort of anti-inflammatory or pain med that is getting you through your day or your week, right? Again, that's not sustainable. It's not good for you long term. Our body has inflammation for a reason. If we keep suppressing the inflammation, there are negative side effects, as well as it's tough on your tummy. Okay. Perhaps you're relying on things like a massager, back braces, gadgets, rubs like A535. Again, very minimal medicine going through the skin barrier, giving you temporary relief. And we don't want to depend on back braces, SI joint braces, low back braces. We want to use our muscles to support us. And when we connect with our muscles, that's how we can fire them and engage them functionally in the right way so that we don't have to depend on those devices. Maybe you're doing the YouTube thing, right? We talked about that a little bit already. There are all the answers there, but it's really hard to figure out the order, the method. Should I be stretching or should I be strengthening? Is it with the quads or the hamstrings? Is it my six pack or my inner core? Which one is it? It's really hard to put it all together and then figure out which ones are right, which ones are wrong, which one is the right one for you. So, doing core strength, I've seen this so many times. People who come in thinking they have a very strong core, but they haven't addressed the inner core. They're just using and bracing everything else on the outside, but the inside, they don't even know about. So it's really important to, know these things. And that's where leaning on mentorship and guidance is really helpful. Alyssa says, YouTube all the time. Wish there was a better way. Yes, YouTube. So core concept number one really is, when you dwindle it down, is that there's a disconnection. There's a mind-body disconnection. Most of the clients I see that are struggling with being able to do the things they love, right, which is probably why you showed up today, is that there's a lack of movement in all the joints of the spine. If you don't know, your spine is 24 bones, over 50 plus joints. We need to move them all. Lots of muscles, lots of joints. They all need a bit of love. Lack of mind-body connection. We talked about that already. The inner core, very important, our foundational muscle that holds us up. Most people don't know about it or how to access it. Improper breath and posture. If we don't have full functional proper breath, it's hard to have good posture. We're going to rely on other things to hold our posture. Those other things start to talk and spasm and break down. And breath fuels us. Breath nourishes us every minute, even more than food. So important to have full functional breath. That's why I started our talk today with breathing, right? Breath is like so important. And muscle imbalances. So many of us walk around with muscle imbalances we're not even aware of. So core concept number one really is that piece, that disconnected piece. Core concept number two is feeling like there isn't enough time for daily exercise, or most clients I see think they need to get their pain under control first before they can start moving and running and exercising. Like they have an injury, I need to take a break. I need to rest. And then once it feels good, then I can go back to running, go back to XYZ. That's not true. This is a common misconception. And in fact, RICE, if you've ever heard of RICE, rest, ice, compress, elevate, that protocol is a bit old school now. And it's been debunked in the literature and the research. Unless you have a broken bone that you need to set and not move that segment, even if you did, you still should move the other parts of your body. Otherwise, you will be so deconditioned, right? You need to move your body. Mindful movement is key here. You don't need to spend hours at the gym, right? People think, oh, I need to spend hours at the gym that I don't have in order to be fit. No, I can show you how you can stick to a plan of moving more without hours of sweating at the gym. I've heard this too. I was told yoga isn't good for my back. People with back pain shouldn't do yoga. It's not true. I even have a woman in my program right now who had osteoporosis and was told not to do yoga, but she missed it so much. And she's been doing yoga with me for almost a year safely. And with her mindful movement and weightlifting, she has actually reversed her osteoporosis. She's gotten better T scores on her bone scans, and she did not have to take medication. So that is really cool. So movement does matter, and movement is medicine. The only way to get rid of my back pain is to take prescription or over-the-counter meds. No, there is another way, and it's simple. Is it easy? No, you have to put in the work. Movement takes work, but if you don't think of it as work, if you think of it as I get to move my body and move the way I want and need to, and then it becomes a healthy habit. It doesn't feel like work. It's something you will eventually crave. It's hard at the start. It's just like starting something. When we're a beginner at something, it's hard, right? Why would we expect to be an expert at something when we haven't done it before? So, yes, we can do it without meds. And another one I hear a lot is, I always have tight hamstrings, or I always have tight hip flexors. I always have tight shoulders. I carry my stress here. I can't change it. Well, if you think that way, you're not going to change it, but you can. It starts with the mind, right? And this is where mentorship and accountability really can help, leaning on someone to help you be aware of those thought patterns and help you overcome that. Because mind, our thoughts, your mindset drives your thoughts, and then your thoughts drive your actions, and then your actions become your reality. So it does start with your mind. You have to believe it first, right? You have to believe it first. Thanks, Alyssa. Alyssa says so true. I know you know, Alyssa. Core concept number 2 continued. It's too hard to stick to the plan because I'm busy with work. I've got kids in soccer and hockey and gymnastics, and life in general is just too busy right now. Yes, I know. I understand. I'm a mom of 3 too, but I promise you there is a way to put it into your day without feeling like it's overwhelming. And it's important to prioritize yourself because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of yourself, but you're taking care of everybody else, if you're, slowly on that decline, who's going to take care of everybody? You need to take care of everybody, and you need to be part of that list. You need to be at the top of that list. Everyone in my family, I've heard this one, everyone in my family has struggled with arthritis or bad knees. It runs in my family. I'm doomed. That's actually really not true. So we have genetics, which is true, but it doesn't mean it's going to be expressed, meaning your DNA may be prone to arthritis, but, or whatever the thing is that runs in your family. But by changing your lifestyle, by promoting healthy habits and practicing them daily, frequently, you can actually either delay or totally not activate those genes that might otherwise be triggered to turn on. So just because your grandma had arthritis, or just because so-and-so had cancer even, It doesn't mean you are doomed at that same age that they got it at the same joint or same time, etc. There are lots of ways to delay or even not have it happen if we can practice preventative health, which is something I'm very passionate about, is helping people with preventative health. And part of that is mindful movement and connecting to your body and tuning in and listening to our bodies. Okay. I know that's a really hard concept to understand if you are not in the sciences, but trust me, this is true. If you haven't read the book, When the Body Says No, that is a really good book to read. Isn't it normal to have aches and pains when we get older? Don't we just push through it? Or do I have to stop running? No, it's not, it's very common, but not normal. So it's very common that as we get older, things start to take a little longer to heal and recover from. Maybe we get a little stiffer more quickly, right? You jump out of the car, your kids are fine, you feel achy in your knees, but it just takes that little bit of every daily frequent practice to keep things lubricated. Motion is lotion, and you can definitely live your second half of life free of feeling that way. Live with confidence, move with ease, and really have a great quality of life. There's no reason we have to live with that. I'm going to share this story with you. This is a client of mine, Nikki, and I'm just going to go ahead and read her testimonial. There's a picture of her and her daughter. So I'm Nikki, okay? I am a mother of two energetic kids, and my husband and I, we're both teachers, have the privilege of coaching some of their teams. I used to be a high-level hockey player, but over the past 20 years, my old knee injury and multiple ACL injuries have continued to affect me. It's been a constant struggle because my body feels much older than it should. I often find myself frustrated during activities as my mind believes I can do something, but my body doesn't always cooperate. Compensating for my injured left knee for such a long time has resulted in stiffness in my back, a significant imbalance in my hips, and overall tightness in my body. As a teacher, I'm constantly on the move at school, but I wasn't mindful of my actions, which only worsened my imbalances, like unconsciously leading with my right leg when going up and down stairs. It wasn't until I started working with Tatiana that I became aware of these compensations. She's helped me reestablish a connection with my my left leg, relearn how to move my body, and transform my mindset from one of pain and fear to confidence, strength, and reduced discomfort, all through the convenience of virtual appointments. Thanks to our work together, I've been able to return to CrossFit and playing team sports again, like ball hockey, including being the goalie. I can also coach without limping or feeling the need to take a seat. Tatiana has equipped me with not only the physical tools, but also the mental tools to overcome old patterns that were no longer serving me. I've developed a new love for non-competitive movement and continue to learn how to be patient with my body. I'm incredibly grateful that I embarked on this journey because now I experience significantly less pain. As a result, I can show up fully as a teacher, mother, and a coach in the way I've always wanted. I can participate in sports and coaching without fear that I'm not giving it my all. I wholeheartedly recommend the Move with Ease method to all my friends and colleagues who aspire to be active and healthy, but are struggling with old injuries, pains, or limitations. It was a game changer. Let me know if her story is inspiring to you. We're talking about, amazing, says Alyssa, about an injury that was over 15 years old. She was a high-level hockey player, a couple of surgeries on her left knee. And for a long time, throughout her pregnancies, throughout her 30s, just not trusting that left leg. And, after working together, it wasn't overnight, but giving her that like giving her that awareness to reestablish the structural connection, change in the mindset, and relearn how to move her left leg and trust it, be part of her body, and being able to get back to activities that are pretty high intensity, like CrossFit, the ball hockey, coaching the way she wants to. You know, I remember one session she was so frustrated because she couldn't, because when you're wearing skates, you're even taller, and she's already a very tall person. She's so tight, she couldn't bend to like pick up the pucks. And after, you know, our yoga movement, mindful movement together, she could do that. It was just these little things, but they matter when it's like your day to day, right? When it's like something you just want to be able to do and your body's stopping you from doing it. If that was a big win for her. I still remember that conversation with her. Um, and just being able to play with her kids freely and show up the way she wants. So this brings us to core concept number 3, which is the discovery that changed everything for my clients, is this structural connection, right? Before we talked about disconnection, they finally felt connected, mind, body connected, learning their deepest foundational muscles, understanding their spine in 3D, so being able to understand and move all the joints and move in all the directions, right? We're not 2D flat cartoons, even though we maybe feel like that with Zoom these days, but we are 3D beings. And mindfulness, mindset, it's so important. And knowing that we can't just address the physical cause of our pain, we have to face and work through any emotional old patterns and other blocks that may be there, right? And clients needed a mindful movement practice that was easy to follow, step by step. They're ready for them to do bite-sized actionable pieces, right? Not hours and hours at the gym. And accountability, right? We're more accountable to others. It's just human beings, how we are. We respond better when there's a pack, power of the pack. So community and mentorship. So the 5 elements that were super important for my clients are root cause, a plan, addressing that breath, the spine, and the deep core, support and mentorship, and that accountability and community. So those are the 5 big elements that really created change. So again, my mission really is, and my passion is preventative health and to help women, busy working moms, get back to running or whatever activities they love and be able to show up how they want. And entering our late 30s into our 40s and beyond, it doesn't have to equal feeling old, stiff, and sore. It might be very common. It might be like this funny joke, you know, I feel 80 when I'm 40, but it really doesn't have to be that way. And it turning into this second half of life doesn't mean we have to stop doing the things we love, like running. I'll share one last client with you. This is Nicole. Nicole and I actually go way back. I'll tell you her story from her words as well. So Tatiana and I go way back. We met when we were doing our master's in physiotherapy at Queen's University back in 2008. Even as an educated physio myself with a PhD, and now I'm an assistant professor in kinesiology, I'm a mom of 2 young children. I find myself struggling with aches and pains as my body ages. I tell you my education not to show off, but to demonstrate that even though I have the knowledge, I still struggled. Just a few months ago, my 4-year-old asked me to race her to the car. As we started running, I couldn't believe how awkward and out of body I felt. Another time, I was goofing around with my kids in the yard and I felt my ankle roll on the ice. It wasn't a full sprain, but I just felt off. I felt like it was off. Fast forward to a week later, I got up from my desk, from my computer, and I sprained my ankle. So that same ankle that she kind of like felt was off, she sprained it. It goes to show that even though I know the things, it still happened to me. I am realizing that I need to get my body into a healthy state so that I can get down and up and play with my kids the way I want. I want to keep up with them. I want to feel confident and good when my daughter asks me to race her in the parking lot. I want to feel strong and deeply connected to my body again. Being a busy working mom, compounded with working from home more, a little bit more sedentary life that happened with the pandemic, I realized and noticed the negative effects on my body. So, really happy to report that after working together, Nicole is able to run. We actually, for another physio friend who got married this past August, we were in Whistler for her bachelorette in June, and I took I took these girls for runs, and Nicole ran 4K, and she was like, "Oh," because like it was kind of hilly too, so it was really cool. And she's feeling much less stiff and sore in her posture. And what she really loved, even though she has the knowledge, right? Nicole has pretty much the same background as me, and then some, because she went on and did her PhD. Um, she just loved the coaching sessions. It held her accountable. She could ask questions, get modifications, and the community of other like-minded women who all were collaborating and connecting with each other through stories, through movement, through mindfulness, wins, struggles, you name it. Again, it's the power of the pact. So those are some of the highlights that Nicole had from the program. So let's review those core concepts quickly. Concept number one was the reason you might be feeling sore or not recovering as quickly as you want, or experiencing repetitive injury, is that your mind body is disconnected, right? And you're not getting at your root cause. Maybe you're going to those weekly appointments, but it's not getting at the root cause. Number two, faulty beliefs. And again, it's not your fault. It's a lot of things that we hear out there. Is maybe you think you have to get rid of your pain first before you exercise or run or move. You believe that you'll always have a bad hip, or your neck will always be stiff because of the car accident 20 years ago. Or maybe you believe older equals pain, equals injuries, equals stop running or stop activity. Okay. Core concept number three was the discovery that changed everything, that my clients who previously may have thought that way too, was that we had to address these 5 elements to get success: successful healing, successful growth, and true transformation, right? We need to address the root cause. We need a solid plan that we know works. Address our breath, right? Remember that breath, the spine, the deep core, basically all of that is like here. We need to address that foundational root of our bodies and connect to it. Support and mentorship. Again, we show up for others more than just showing up for ourselves. So having that community, accountability, having the support, having someone to lean on, cheer you on, it's so important. We don't have to do it alone. So let me remind you, and you can also type in the chat, tell me why you showed up today. You want to live free from pain and prevent injury. Maybe you want to run again. Maybe you want to train for a half marathon. Maybe you want to try a 5K. You just want to be active. I don't know. Let you tell me, why did you show up today? Maybe you want to just feel confident to move how you want. Wake up without stiffness and soreness. Maybe you just want to move into the second half of your life even better than the first half of your life, right? It's never too late. I was on a call with another woman just a few weeks ago. She's young. She's only in her mid to late 40s. And she's like, is it too late? And I was like, no, it's never too late to take care of yourself and turn to, bettering yourself, improving your health. It's never too late. Just like the woman that's in my program right now, her name is Carol. She's 70 September this month. I think she just had her birthday. She reversed her osteoporosis. It's really cool. You want to enjoy life and all the activities that you love, right? That's why you showed up today. Tell me. If there's more reasons, tell me. And my promise to you was to show you how you can start to shift away. right? How do you start to shift away from feeling like that, stuck in your body, stuck in your injuries, stuck in your repetitive strains, waking up maybe old, stiff, and sore, and start living freely, moving with ease, have energy, run, sign up for a race, move towards being that healthier, healthiest version of yourself. So it's like a fork in the road. Okay, we can choose path A, where you continue maybe taking medication or Googling, or you're gonna keep relying on bi-weekly appointments with your therapist, chiropractor, physiotherapist, whoever it is, for temporary relief, right? Continue to be defined by being stuck in your pain or stuck with your old injuries, and you continue to invest in the short-term relief, but there's no real return for the future self. Or you can try plan B, which is the Move with Ease method, right? The program that I was chatting about earlier that was born from what I saw was so powerful during that lockdown. Accountability, sustainability, growth, investment in your health, in you, that will pay you back 1,000 times in your future. So how can I help you? How can I help you? I can offer you a call. It's free. It's called the Move with Ease assessment call. And whether or not we end up working together in a professional capacity, bare minimum on the call, you will gain clarity. You'll gain clarity on what your health goals actually are, where you're at, what you want to achieve, and next best steps. Perhaps the next best step is the Move with Ease method. If it's not, that's okay too, but you will gain clarity. If you're just ready, if you know me or you have been following me for a while and you've been to some of my workshops, perhaps you feel ready to dive in. I'll put the link there to sign up. Let me stop my screen so I can find the link. And because you came live, I'm so proud of you for coming live. I will give you a discount code that you can use right away. Get 150 Canadian dollars off right away. And if you want to book a call instead, and then you can still use the discount this week, that's fine too. I'm just here to support you and your active health goals. And I know you showed up because you want to stop feeling stuck, stiff, and sore in your body. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer them. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. And there's your coupon code if you want to start moving with ease today, this week. If you want to book a call, send me an email. I'll put my email here. I will book you in. We can figure out a time that works. Does anyone have any questions for me before we say goodbye? It's about 1:13, so I've got a few moments left. Thank you so much for sticking around. You know, it means a lot. It shows a lot that you stayed, you care about your health, you're committed to, you know, living a pain-free, healthy, confident, active lifestyle. By showing up today, you're one step towards that. So that's awesome. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll be around for another minute or two. You're welcome, Charlene. Have a great day. I'm going to start